When we look, you can see families were more than willing to go to the box office to support something like the Minecraft movie, while Rachel Zegler's Snow White continues to plunge.
I don't think they're gonna buy it. I don't think they're gonna watch it. I don't think they're gonna like it.
Minecraft in the United States in one weekend made more money than Snow White has made globally after 3 weekends. That's how bad it is right now.
She's literally the only person there. And do you not understand how humiliating this is? Meanwhile, the experience at Minecraft goes something like this.
This is sick. Chicken
I never want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have. I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats.
Every single one of these reviews is just absolutely brutal. And what you also need to know is that these are not politically driven reviews. I mean, most of them are from the camp that should be supporting Disney, that should be behind this new progressive take on Snow White, and yet they can't because the film is apparently just that bad.
There's no way that Snow White is going to recover.
Warner Brothers' Minecraft movie versus Disney's Snow White, which in theory should be quite a battle, but it's not even a fair fight. And it's pretty hysterical actually to watch.
Now, there is no doubt about it that Snow White 2025 is considered by far one of the worst box office failures, not just with Disney, but also in the entire film history when it comes down to live-action remakes.
Right, we're talking about ultra-far leftists, people who believe that men and women are a figment of your imagination, that your money is not your own, that your family is not your own, and that your country is not your own. That's what woke me.
Rachel Zegler is a loudmouth pill.
Snow White, of course, famously played by the insufferable girl boss narcissist who's just clinical at this point.
What they really mean is they're describing a worldview that hates you. That hates everything America stands for.
DC said Disney Snow White has a major identity crisis.
But it says, meanwhile, over in the kingdom of crumbling crowns, Disney Snow White dropped like an enchanted apple.
Saying that audiences will always line up to see her no matter what she does.
At every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
You know what's interesting about all this is that the only person waiting in line to see Snow White was Rachel Zegler.
But you don't seemingly like your own character, so she comes off as an insufferable, whiny brat.
Well, we all basically knew that Snow White was going to be a massive failure at the box office because of Rachel Zegler's controversial statement.
She doesn't need a prince to save her, and not surrounded by 7 weird people. Oh, okay, just CGI fictional goblins, I guess.
Rachel Zegler was already skating on thin ice after the Snow White controversy, but once the Minecraft movie hit the big screen, that thin ice shattered, and fast. What was already a messy PR disaster turned into a full-blown industry faceplant. The moment those pixelated blocks took over the box office, things shifted from bad to straight-up brutal.
So, it got destroyed at the box office. Here's the box office numbers. The Minecraft movie made $60 million on Saturday. Snow White made 2.
It was crawling toward the finish line. One looked like a global event. The other felt like a forgotten rerun. It wasn't even close.
Earned over $157 million while earning another $144 million internationally. The Minecraft video game was introduced in 2011 and sold more than 300 million copies. So it actually has a fan base, user base, people that care about it. In theory, Snow White should as well. Snow White's the movie that made Disney, the studio. They should have been more cautious and careful with their own IP. It's $1 billion IP. The Disney Snow White, faithfully adapted, would have made a...
The contrast couldn't have been more humiliating, and that's not an exaggeration. Industry insiders didn't even try to sugarcoat it. The silence from analysts was deafening. And the internet? Oh, it had jokes. Rachel's critics online were living for it. Rumors swirled that she was blindsided and broke down backstage. She tried to rebrand a fairy tale into a feminist manifesto and instead got wrecked by a bunch of digital Legos.
People are like, oh wow, Snow White flopped. Who is surprised? You cast arguably the least genuine, most out of touch, and disliked person in her industry, and her industry is Hollywood. And the bad guy is Gal Gadot.
The experts hadn't seen it coming, which, let's be real, only made it more delicious. Critics brushed Minecraft off as kitty fluff with no cinematic weight. But what they missed was that this fluff had roots. Deep roots. Generations grew up on Minecraft. It wasn't just a game, it was a cultural touchstone. It had heart, nostalgia, and most importantly, it was actually fun. Unlike Snow White, which seemed allergic to joy. Snow White became the joke. And Rachel? She didn't do herself any favors. Her press tour was a PR implosion. She called the original Snow White weird, and the prince, a stalker. And that was just the beginning.
I'm a narcissist. The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so.
Okay.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird. And then it became like, I will elbow everyone out of the way to play the part. People will assume it's a love story just because like we cast a guy in the movie, Andrew Burnap. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
I say, if I'm gonna stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
And we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not gonna be saved by the prince.
She's not gonna be saved by the prince, and she's not gonna be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
She mocked love stories, dragged fairy tale tropes, and proudly declared the remake ditched anything outdated. It was less modern heroine, more film school snob. Generations who cherished the magic felt slapped in the face. Disney fans didn't sign up for a lecture. They came for fantasy. But Rachel came off like a guest speaker at a feminism panel, rewriting movie history with a smirk. And Disney? They just stood there. No guidance, no damage control, just silence. Rachel kept talking, and it kept getting worse. Her infamous comment about wanting royalties whenever someone streams the film, that clip aged like milk. She sounded out of touch, smug, and completely unaware that her Hollywood moment was slipping. The internet turned savage. Her interviews became viral cringe compilations. YouTube, TikTok, Twitter. Everywhere you looked, there was Rachel saying something that made things worse. And Disney still didn't step in. That silence? It became its own scandal. Fans didn't just dislike the movie. They started questioning if Disney even believed in it. Who was this new Snow White supposed to be? The prince? Gone. The dwarfs? Scrapped. Romance? Cancelled. What was left felt like a sanitized, confused after-school special trying to pretend it was still magical. By the time it hit theaters, it was too late. The backlash had gone from memes to full-on rejection. Families didn't show up. Casual moviegoers didn't care. And the numbers? They were a disaster. In a time when remakes are expected to hit $1 billion, Snow White didn't even flirt with $100 million. Rachel Zegler's name was on the marquee, but it was her interviews, Disney's silence, and the full gutting of a beloved classic that tanked Snow White before it even had a chance. Insiders at Disney were reportedly in chaos. Script rewrites, boardroom fights, creative disagreements. It was a circus. What started as a simple live-action update turned into something totally unrecognizable. Sources say the script kept morphing, each new version stripping more of the charm, more of the innocence, until it barely resembled the original tale at all. Instead of leaning into what worked, they tried to shove in social commentary, like it was an episode of Woke Talk Live. The result? A clunky mess that felt more like a lecture series with costumes than a movie. And audiences felt that. They didn't come for a sermon. They came to feel enchanted. Instead, they walked out frustrated and confused. And while Snow White flopped, Rachel Zegler, meanwhile, was becoming the ultimate cautionary tale. She didn't write the script or direct the movie, but she was the face. Her clips, her comments, her vibe, it all became internet fodder. Her tone when talking about the original Snow White felt smug. Even fans who wanted to support her started cringing. She may have meant well, trying to promote a stronger female lead, but her timing, delivery, and attitude handed critics exactly what they needed. Suddenly, every issue people had with Disney's new direction had one face: Rachel's. Then there was the casting. Snow White is famously described as having skin white as snow. So when Disney cast a Colombian-American actress, the internet lit up. Supporters called it progress. Critics saw it as tokenism. And the online war that followed? Explosive. What could have been a moment of inclusive celebration turned into another PR landmine, not because of Rachel's background, but because of how clumsily the whole thing was handled. At the center of it all, Disney. The company that once owned childhood memories now felt like it was losing its own identity. This wasn't just a failed reboot. It was a wake-up call. Audiences weren't mad about one movie. They were disillusioned. The studio that gave us magic had suddenly forgotten the recipe. Instead of enchantment, they served up lectures. Instead of wonder, they won. Rachel Zegler might not have destroyed Snow White alone, but her media storm turned her into the face of its collapse. What's left is a bruised legacy, a fractured fan base, and a loud message to Hollywood. If you're going to mess with the classics, you better know what you're doing, and maybe, just maybe, stop talking long enough to let the magic speak for itself.